What's up, everybody? Welcome to our channel, Honest Hockey Takes. I'm Hohen and this is Scott, and in this video we'll be doing our fantasy hockey video. Specifically, this video we'll be sharing 3 buy lows and 3 sell highs.
Yeah, so we're going to start off for you guys with our buy low candidates. I'm going to start off with Morgan Rielly from the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, we know Morgan Rielly's missed a lot of time this year. He's had injuries and he's missed about half the season almost. But you know what? He's a prime candidate to really pick it up for the second half of the year. He's got his spot back on the power play one. No more Rasmus Sandin, and you can tell that they miss this guy a lot. When they have him on the power play, it looks a lot different. And so far to start this year in 27 games, Morgan Rielly has 0 goals and 19 assists. If you've watched this guy the past couple years, you know he's not going to finish with 0 goals. He has some goal positive regression coming. He's probably going to finish the year with 6 or 7. That means you're going to get 6 or 7 goals from a defenseman in the next 40 games, as well as probably like 25 more assists, be close to a point per game player, and it's just a really good steal to go out and get right now.
Yeah, Morgan Rielly's like a 60-point defenseman when he plays a full season. He can potentially get 70, but most of those are going to be assists. He has been with this power play group for forever. So with what you're getting with the Morgan Rielly, it's like you know what you're getting exactly with him. I think he's a terrific defenseman. Is he a top 10 defenseman? Not in my mind, he's not. But for the Toronto Maple Leafs, playing with Mitch Marner, playing with all these big, high-skilled players, there's no question that he's going to put up some good points here. Another thing is that, he does have a good shot, like a sneakily good shot, although he doesn't put up that many goals. But, Morgan Rielly's a safe pick. He's a good pick. He's back on the power play one, like Scott said. And rightfully so.
Yeah, and plus, you know this guy's going to get like 24 minutes a night. I mean, you can't really pass up on that. He's going to be used so much in all situations. He's going to have a great chance to touch the puck. And he's playing with some elite forwards. Like, you got guys like Marner, Tavares, Nylander, and Matthews. So, I mean, just by being with those guys, you're going to get a lot of assists.
Yeah, they didn't sign him that big contract for nothing. They're going to use him. So.
No, absolutely.
And the next player that we have for the buy low candidates is Patrik Laine from the Columbus Blue Jackets. Now, in the awards prediction video, I know I had this guy as a dark horse to win the Rocket Richard Trophy. I know that's not going to happen. It's too bad, you stupid Laine, but whatever. Patrik Laine is a very one-dimensional player. He has a terrific shot. He's not. I don't know if I like him as an all-around hockey player, but he has a terrific shot. But he's going to help, especially with the acquisition of Johnny Gaudreau in the offseason by the Columbus Blue Jackets. It's really going to help his production if he can stay healthy, which is a big problem with him, is staying healthy. I hope he can stay healthy because it's the Columbus Blue Jackets right now are a terrible hockey team, and I kind of don't want them to win the first overall pick, so I kind of want them to win some games here. But yeah, hopefully, and you know, these athletes will want to compete all the time, so they have I think of nothing less of Patrik Laine. He's going to score a lot of goals.
Yeah, I mean, he is one-dimensional, like Cohen said, but the good thing for fantasy purposes is his one dimension is his shot and his scoring, and he's kind of been a bit low on that so far to start this year. I would look for that to increase as the games go on, even especially through like the next like 10, 15 games. I know Columbus has done some weird stuff with their lines, like he's all over the place. One game he'll be on the first line, the next game he'll be on the second line, like he's all around, but he's still going to be on the power play one. And I mean, pretty much that's going to be his best opportunity to get really good shots from the circle, you know, his favorite place to shoot. And playing with a guy like Johnny Hockey on the power play especially is going to give you lots of opportunities to pot some goals, especially if you're a great shooter.
Yeah, and actually with the Columbus Blue Jackets team too, they have other players now that are starting to step up to score goals. So it's not just fully reliant on just Patrik Laine to score all his goals. But with saying that, Patrik Laine is put in the best positions on this team to score the goals. So yeah.
Yeah, he doesn't really have a lot of excuses. Alrighty, and our third and final buy low candidate I got for you guys is Matt Boldy from the Minnesota Wild. Now, we all saw last year Matt Boldy absolutely tore it up in his rookie season. He was almost a point per game player, and he was absolutely electric. He was the second scoring dimension the Wild needed. And then this year, he's kind of got off to a bit of a slow start. So far, after 40 games, he only has 29 points. And in his last 5 or 6, he's kind of been pretty dry. But I'd look for that to even out. This is a player who has shown he has a lot of compete level. He's very gritty. He'll fight for the puck, and he has a pretty solid shot. I mean, all around, just a really good hockey player, and you know he's not going to stay down forever. This is a guy who has shown his talent all throughout like the college ranks, and as I said, like in his rookie years. So, I mean, You're going to get a guy who's switchable. He can play as both the right wing or left wing for fantasy purposes. And he's playing on the power play one all the time with Kaprizov and Zuccarello. He's going to get points, and eventually the dry streak's going to end.
Yeah, I love how Matt Boldy plays. He plays a gritty style. I love his size. I love how he's like a hybrid. He's got like a hybrid sniper slash power forward slash type of style. It's a very interesting style. I really like him, but you can definitely tell in the beginning of the year he definitely misses Kevin Fiala on that wing because Kevin Fiala was such a fast player on that line that it really helps complements Matt Boldy on that line. But now I feel like we're past the halfway point of the season now, and I think he's starting to figure out how to play with different players on the team now. So yeah, I know Matt Boldy is a terrific player. He always has been, like what Scott said, throughout his college years and stuff like that. He's a well-proven player throughout his whole career. I expect nothing less from him as well. So yeah.
And he seems, just one last thing, he seems like a second half player. If we look at last year, he didn't make the team right out of camp, like right away. He took like 20 games to get in, and then his numbers really started to pile up in the second half of the season. I feel like he needed that time to get going, and it might be the same thing this year. This just might be who Matt Boldy is. He might be like the perfect guy to own from games 41 to 82.
Yeah, and also to add on to that, Minnesota's been playing way better
they have
in the last 10 games than they'd had in the first 20 games
way
of the
different
season.
team, yeah.
Way different team now. I can definitely I wouldn't say confirm, but I would say the chances of Minnesota making playoffs are much better now than they were than the first 20 games of the season. So Matt Boldy's a big part of this franchise going forward. So they're gonna put him in power play one, everything. So it's like a safe pick here. So now we have given you some buy lows. Now we're going to give you 3 sell high candidates. And the first one that we have is Dylan Strome from the Washington Capitals, who in 44 games has 31 points. You know, that point total sounds pretty good right now, but he has been moved down ever since Nicholas Backstrom came back in the lineup. And obviously with, I know it kind of indirectly, but also the fact that Tom Wilson is back.
Yeah,
also,
the team's finally healthy again.
Yeah, the fact that Washington Capitals are getting healthier, it moves Dylan Strome down the lineup. And I feel like if someone doesn't know, just look at stats alone, I feel like they will look at Dylan Strome and be like, oh, he's got this amount of points in this many games. It could be a good bet. But obviously because that he's not utilized right now properly in the top 6 role, I feel like it's a good time to get rid of him.
Yeah, so as a Washington Capitals fan, I was really happy with what Dylan Strome was able to do for us for the first half of the year. He did exactly what we needed. We needed someone to come in as a centerman and absolutely take over as best they could. Obviously, it's hard to replace a guy like Nicholas Backstrom, but we were missing 2 guys in our top 6 in Wilson and Backstrom, and he came in and did a very, very solid job. Unfortunately, now that these guys are back and the team's the healthiest it's been all year, it's going to be really tough for this guy to get the kind of minutes he was getting. His chances on the power play are less likely to hold up, although I think he'll be there maybe on and off, game in and game out. But playing most likely on the third line now because Backstrom and Kuznetsov are going to be the 1-2 centers. And since Strome plays center majority of the time, it's less likely he's going to be seeing that 20 to like 16 minutes a night, and more likely he's going to be in like the 14, 13 minutes a night kind of range. So not exactly ideal, and it's probably best you sell him at this point before he loses more value as the season goes on. All right, guys, and our second sell high candidate I got for you guys today is Jamie Benn. Now, I know we've had Jamie Benn in the past on this list, maybe a month ago, but you know what? We were kind of right about that. Since we put him on our list maybe a month ago, he's already fallen off a little bit, and I think, honestly, he could fall off some more. The guy still has 37 points in 42 games, which is almost a point per game, but that's already fallen off a little bit from the previous where he was over a point per game, and I think it's going to continue to fall. I think this guy finishes the season probably around 65 points in 82 games, and that is not the type of pace he's on now. He's on a pace for more like 75, 76 points. And I think right now is like your last chance to sell this guy at the absolute high. This is a guy who's playing only about 15 minutes a night. That is not big minutes for a top forward. And I just don't see the production continuing the rest of the year.
Yeah, I agree with this one completely. I mean, last time we had Jamie Benn on the sell high, I was clearly not a biggest fan of this player, and I'm still not a big fan of this player. I just don't really like this player. But in saying that, he is only playing 15 minutes a night, and it's not enough, to be honest. If you're a top 6 player, you need more. You need at least 17, 18 minutes it maximizes your chance to get more points. He's playing with really good players. That's what I'll say. And he's playing on a really good team right now. He's riding this team right now. We don't know how long Dallas Stars are going to hold on to this type of pace of winning games. But in saying that, I feel like the biggest offensive drivers on this team have always been that Jason Robertson, Rupe Hintz line. And Jamie Benn is there kind of like somehow for some reason on the power play one.
That's the only reason he's still getting all these points is because he plays on the PP1 with those guys.
Yeah.
When it comes to regular strength, playing with like the third or second line, he hasn't really been producing the same way.
Yeah, that's why I would definitely consider trading him right now for someone who is a safer bet for the future.
Especially heading into the playoffs for fantasy coming up soon.
Exactly. You gotta remember, you want to win during the playoffs time. You want a player that is consistent, that can produce. You know what you're gonna get in the playoffs.
Yeah, worst nightmare is you need to win the last 2 weeks of the regular season to get in, and this guy puts up a goose egg for 5 games.
Exactly. The last thing you want is this guy puts on like 7 points in like a week, and then next week he puts 0. You don't want that.
I'd rather you guys chase a guy who's a safer pick, who might play 9 games down the stretch and get 7 points, but you know it's a secure 7 points in 9 games.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why we're recommending selling high on Jamie Benn. But now, for our final sell high candidate that we have, this one's a little bit controversial, but we have Martin Jones. Now, Martin Jones had a crazy shutout today against the Boston Bruins, and that is very impressive. But in saying that, Seattle Krakens are playing extremely well right now, but his percentage is not very good. It's 900, and we've seen right now he's playing really good. I feel like he's very motivated. We don't know how long he's going to hold. We know Seattle Kraken are most likely going to make the playoffs, but I have seen Martin Jones playing horribly for the last 3 years, and I just don't know. We just don't know when that can change. So he's kind of like an iffy player for me personally, because I know he's riding hot right now, but if you can get someone more secure, more consistent, I would go for that bet.
So when I say Martin Jones on a sell high list, this is the reason I'm saying it. I don't think that he's had a bad season by any means. He's obviously been good. I mean, the guy's won 20 games, lost like 5 in regulation and 3 in OT. But that looks really great on paper and all. But this is probably the highest he'll be all year win ratio wise. Like, Seattle's won like 6 or 7 in a row now. They're a good team, and they're probably going to make the playoffs. I'll be real. I have to admit it. They're probably getting into the playoffs. But we're talking about sell high. That is the highest spot we feel this player will be for the rest of this season, for the next 40 games. And I can't see him ever being higher than it is now after a shutout against the Boston Bruins. People are going to look at this guy and be like, wow, what great numbers he has. He just shut out Boston. This guy's a world beater. But he still has a 2.75 goals against and like an 899 save. It's not exactly like world beater numbers. And sure, he's got a lot of wins, but it's kind of unsustainable when this team hasn't played a lot of defense and has been relying on scoring 4 or 5 goals a game to win their games.
Yeah, again, like if you can trade him for like a top 2 defenseman somehow, someone's willing to take him for like a top 2 defenseman, or a top 6 forward, like a top line winger or something, if they're willing to move that for him, man.
not too many goalies have 20 wins, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, you kind of probably have a lot of takers in the market for that.
Especially if Martin Jones is your 3rd string goalie and there's a team out there in your fantasy league that really needs a second goalie, man, definitely push hard to trade that goalie down to their throats.
Yeah, you might be able to get a pretty solid winger, pretty solid center or something. You never know. Well, guys, that's all for our video today. Hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any problems with some of the picks, feel free to leave it in the comments below. We know some of them are controversial. But if not, we'll see you guys next week. Take care.
Yeah, take care, guys.